Superman 2, the movie, has one of the most interesting production stories ever. You see, Richard Donner, director of the first movie, was pulling a Peter Jackson and was actually directing both films simultaneously. But then the Salkinds, the producers, were like, "You're fired." And so they replaced one Richard for another Richard, and boom, we got Superman 2. And for years, Richard Donner's version was locked in a vault, never thought to see the light of day. Elements of Richard Donner's footage appeared on TV broadcasts because it was common practice to extend movies for more ad revenue, but that was about it. And for years, fans never thought they were going to be able to see Donner's version until 2006. With the coming release of Superman Returns that year, interest in the Donner cut began to resurface, and so finally, the Richard Donner cut of the film was released to the public. So essentially, we have two versions of this movie to review, and I'm going to be talking about both of them in this review. The story is pretty much the same in both versions. Lois finds out the identity of Superman, and so he gives up his superpower so that he can be with her. And the three criminals from the first movie break out of the Phantom Zone and decide to come to Earth. It's a really good story and very much a worthy follow-up to Superman the movie. I think what really works about this movie is Christopher Reeve yet again giving a great performance as Superman. That man will always be Superman to me. Superman's romance with Lois Lane is also very well written, and the villains are incredibly entertaining to watch, especially General Zod. One of my favorite scenes of the movie is the scene in the diner when Superman gets his ass handed to him by some shithead at the place. It shows Superman at a very vulnerable state, and we don't often get to see that in a Superman movie. And when the TV turns on and shows General Zod and Superman realizes that giving up his powers was a mistake, the stakes feel really high. The visuals are pretty good. I feel like they get a little too ambitious with the green screen effects in certain scenes, but other than that, the effects are pretty solid. I think the biggest downgrade is the musical score. It just doesn't pack the same punch as the first movie. I am aware that John Williams didn't return for this movie, but I'm not totally going to put the blame on the new guy. I think a lot of the melodies are pretty good, but I think what happened is maybe they got a smaller orchestra this time. The first movie had the London Symphony Orchestra performing, and it's kind of hard to beat that. The differences between both versions are small, but substantial. I think Richard Lester's version is a bit more lenient on the slapstick and the humorous side of things, but Richard Donner's version is a bit more serious. And I think, generally speaking, I prefer Richard Donner's cut, but there are certain things about the Lester cut that I like better as well. So, I'll go and talk about the pros and cons of both versions. In Donner's version, there's a really great scene where Lois kind of begins to try and to put it together that Superman and Clark are the same person, and she decides to jump out of a building, basically saying that, "Oh, now you have to save me." And so Clark Kent, of course, not wanting to reveal his identity, has to find a creative way to save her without doing so. I think it's a wonderful scene, and the scene was kind of reworked to be the scene where she jumps in the river in the Lester cut, but I think I prefer Richard Donner's version of this scene. Another big difference is the scene where Lois actually figures it out. In Lester's cut, Clark falls into some fire, and Lois finds out that he's perfectly fine, and so she's able to put it together. In Donner's cut, Lois has a gun pointed at him and shoots it, but then it's revealed that the gun wasn't loaded, and she basically tricked him. This is also a big improvement. I prefer Donner's cut. It's more cleverly written, and I think it's more in line with something Lois would do. Another big difference is the ending. In Lester's cut, Superman does a mind-erasing kiss on her, and then things go back to normal after that. In Donner's cut, Christopher Reeve decides to destroy the Fortress of Solitude, takes her back home, and then decides to reverse time again by changing the Earth's rotation, just like in the first movie. This is one of the few instances where I think I actually prefer Lester's version. I don't know, I just don't quite like the idea of Superman reversing time again. It didn't really work for me in the first movie, and so I think this time I'm going to take the erasing kiss. Other than that, for the most part, I prefer Donner's version. There's also more scenes of Lex Luthor in this movie, and they're all really great. Donner's version also includes new footage of Marlon Brando as Jor-El. See, he wasn't in the Lester version because it costs more money to include him, so they went with including Superman's mother instead. But I like having Jor-El here instead of his mom because it makes it feel more connected to the first film in many ways. So, overall, if you're gonna watch a version of this movie, if you can get over the ending, I think that the Richard Donner cut is the version to go with. Though I will admit another thing I like about Lester's cut is that shot of Superman flying the American flag to the White House. I don't know, it's a really iconic shot. Anyway, other than that, that's it for the Superman reviews. Thank you guys for watching. If you want me to review Superman 3 and 4, or Superman Returns, or Man of Steel, or any other DC related movie, please let me know. And thank you for watching. I will talk to you guys later.